Your world isn't real. You're living in a simulation right now. And I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to give you an exercise to prove this for you, because to see the glitches within the simulation is what solidifies your new belief that your world actually isn't real and that you can actually create whatever you want simply by picturing it, imagining it, and mentally rehearsing it. And this can bring great things into your life and completely shift you within the simulation, and also prove to you that it's not real. And I want you to do this. Whatever your world is telling you, say a doctor or your family members or people that you know are saying that people are saying you'll never be able to do this, or you'll never be able to do that. Or for example, if a doctor is telling you you're in a wheelchair right now and they're telling you you're never going to walk again. There's actually a testimonial in my school community right now with somebody that did this technique and now they can walk. They were in a wheelchair and they couldn't walk for 4 years and they started imagining themselves walking. But let me get into this. If a doctor is telling you that you can't walk, but you want to walk and you know that you're living in a simulation, you simply start mentally rehearsing and visualizing yourself walking and jumping and running and skipping and jump roping, everything you could think of. Be creative with it. Whatever the simulation is telling you that you can't do, you start doing those things in your imagination. And you'll start to see the strangest things start to happen where, if, like in this case, a doctor is going to come back and say, I don't know why I told you this, or this new technology came out here. You can walk again, or you can run again, or you can jump rope again. But you can use this, apply this for anything in your life, whatever you're trying to create, or whatever the simulation is telling you you can't have. Like you want a new house, you want a beautiful house to live in, you want to drive your dream car, you want to have a dream physique, you want a really great relationship, or you want to repair the relationship you're in now. But people are telling you, no, this person's never going to change, or no, you can never have that car, or no, you can never live in this house. Simply start imagining and visualizing yourself doing these things. Start doing it. Start driving the car. Start picturing yourself in that house. Go online and go take a look at this house that you want to live in, something similar to it, and download all the information of how it looks. Or go into one of the houses and really take a look and be present while you're there and start downloading all the information. Start downloading all this information that you're seeing, and then at that night or during the day, whenever, start imagining yourself walking in the house and touching different objects in the house, looking out the windows. What does it look like? The view, say it has a nice view of the beach or a river or an island or something, and start simply visualizing yourself being in that house. And something will happen because imagination creates reality. So if you are present and you have focus and you can visualize correctly and just see it in your mind and start actually doing these things in your mind, not just thinking of them, but thinking from them. And like you're actually doing those things now. Like if your doctor told you can't walk anymore, you're actually performing these visualizations in your mind of walking, of running, of jump roping, and you're doing all of these things. So whatever the simulation is telling you that you can't have, I want you to start today, and as you're going to sleep at night is actually the inception point of the subconscious mind, when it really starts to feel these things happening in your reality. And what happens is, because the simulation is dual natured, there's a conscious part which you're in control of, and then there's a subconscious part. So whatever you consent to being true when you're consciously aware of what's happening in your world is then impressed within you and changes everything that's pushed out in the world through the subconscious mind. But once you change what you consent to being true by visualizing and mentally rehearsing new things happening to you, and then you consent to that being true now, and you're actually experiencing that in your imagination, that's when you send the signal to the subconscious mind, which is impersonal and non-selective, to actually project that new reality into the simulation. So you'll start experiencing that, and anything is possible. You are an absolute limit. There's a limitless amount of things that you can have and do in your world. The only thing that's limiting you is that conscious part and what you consent to being true. But when you start visualizing and mentally rehearsing and playing these things and doing these things in your imagination, your world has to shift. It has to change when you start imagining and picturing these things doing. So make a list. Start writing this stuff down and say, I want to the simulation is telling me that I can't have this, this, or this, or this. So write this stuff down. I'm gonna have this. So this is what I'm gonna do in my imagination. The simulation is telling me that I can't drive a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or, whatever your dream car is, a G-Wagon or whatever it may be. I'm gonna do this in my imagination. I'm gonna picture this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it at this time. I'm gonna make sure that I do this. I'm gonna set alarms to do that. And the simulation is telling me I can't have, my relationship is destroyed and I can't have a good relationship. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna start picturing myself in a great relationship. And I'm gonna release all the fear, all the stress, and start writing all this stuff down. I'm not gonna be doing this. I'm gonna be doing this now. I'm gonna start imagining I'm doing this. I can live in my dream house now, so I'm gonna write this down. The simulation is telling me that I can't live in this house, but I'm gonna start imagining myself living in this house. And you're gonna write all this stuff down. Everything that the simulation is telling you that you can't have, write it all down and then flip it, do the opposite, and start doing those things in your imagination. Start setting timers, making sure that you're doing this stuff even throughout the day. Start mentally rehearsing this stuff, and it can happen very, very quickly. Some of the things may take a little bit of time, but if you continue, if you persist in this assumption, it will harden into a fact in your world, as Neville Goddard stated. All you have to do is keep mentally rehearsing this stuff, and the more that you do it, the better you get, and the more you see the glitches in your reality. Because the first time you do it, say you went to a car dealership and you try to apply for a loan or whatever, you try to get a car and they say, no, you can't get this car. You say, okay, the simulation is telling me I can't have this car. So then start driving it in your imagination as you're going to sleep and throughout the day. And something's going to happen to where you're going to be gifted the car, or the market's going to crash and all of a sudden they're giving these cars away for basically nothing. Something is going to happen to where you get it. And when you do get that, simply by after you were denied and then you started mentally rehearsing it, then that's a glitch. Then you know there's no coincidences in your reality, and then you can move to the next thing. Once you get the car, then you'd be like, okay, now I want the house. They told me I can't have this house, so now I'm gonna start picturing myself, visualizing myself walking around in this house as much as I possibly can. Because why wouldn't you? Once you know that this works, what are you waiting for? Why are you waiting to live the life of your dreams when you could live it right now? Imagination creates reality. You're living in a simulation. You don't need to fear. You don't need to stress. If you want to have something, you simply start doing it in your imagination. And I've done this with everything that I own. Everything that I have visualized myself having it before I had it. And whatever the simulation told me that I couldn't have, I simply started imagining it, and it all came to me. And that's why I've created my school community. That's why I've created my platform on YouTube. That's why I've created my entire brand based on this, because I want everyone to experience this and start changing their realities, start shifting in the simulation, start shifting, because there's an infinite amount of realities that coexist simultaneously. So you have endless and limitless potential of what realities that you can live in. And I want you to join me in this reality. So whatever the simulation is telling you that you can't have, simply start imagining it. Start imagining it right now. Take it to the next level. Start seeing the glitches. And once you get that first win, you start stacking the wins with your imagination. You're gonna get better and better and better. And through repetition, you get better at visualizing. And then your mind is gonna start doing it automatically. It's gonna start seeing the best outcomes for you. Your mindset is completely shifted. Your states of consciousness are to the next level now. And now you're manifesting all this great stuff to come into your life. And I'm super excited for you. And I really want you to take this to the next level and start applying this. Just do it one thing at a time if you want. When it happens, you're gonna know that this is real. This is a real deal. So get in there, and whatever the simulation is telling you that you can't have, simply start doing it in your imagination. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.